Okay, so in this example, we have a little bit more of a complex implied refine. So let's dig in. So in this case, we're using two different orders of refine. One that or of implied refine, a first order derive and a second order derive. Those are made up terminologies. That just means that um, this is derived from a requirement, and this one is derived from a requirement, which is derived from another requirement. So if we start from the healthcare device block, we can see that there is a part property called patient interface associated with this. So we can start from that part, which we're doing here, and use a source, which is a refine relationship. Moved that a little bit closer so it was easier to see. And we're going to collect this request additional dosage. So as you can see, that's just a normal refine relationship and it's calculated there. The next thing that we do is we follow the criteria, which is a target to source. So this request additional dosage is broken down further into a system requirement, um, broken down, aka derived, into the system requirement here. So then it matches that criteria. So this would be considered our first order. And as you can see, it creates that implied relationship here. And then finally, we have the second order, which is also a criteria target to source from the bolus request interface to bolus request button. So we're being very specific now about this is more of a physical requirement of exactly what type of button we're using. And so as you can see, this creates an implied refine all the way back to the patient interface. And again, in this example, what we've done is we've used two different implied relationships to get this entire chain. The first refine implied was just uh, a derive, and then the second one was also a derive, but with a little bit of a twist. We use a metachain to get that second derive in there. And so let's go take a look at this. So in the second order, we can open it up and we can look at our source is going to be a refine relationship similarly to the other one. But this is where it gets a little bit, just a little bit more tricky. So we do that, we start from the refine. So we had that part property previously and it refined a requirement. Then we went from that requirement up from target to source to its derived, and then that leads us to another requirement, target to source, and we follow it to its derived, which leads us to that final requirement. And so that's how you can use a metachain within the implied relationship to get that second order derive. That is a pretty straightforward thing to do.